All right. How is everybody doing tonight? I still have the thing on my screen doing I don't have the camera yet. All right. Welcome everybody to another edition of the OverPower Town Hall. We don't really have an official name. We're just coming and giving you guys updates whenever we have them. So I've said this every time we've done this, and I've failed every time, but we're going to try to get you guys out of here in under an hour. I really don't think we have a ton to cover tonight. So this is going to be a nice fast in and out. So first of all, thank you everybody who jumped in on our Discord. We've got such a great Discord community, super active. We're always on here. You can always tag me or Dave or any of the other people in the Discord with questions. But you guys are great. Big shout out to people like Al and Keith and, Sean Ballantyne's been on there a lot, playing a ton of games online. So thank you guys for fielding questions and always being available for players. We definitely see that. It's awesome. And just a big shout out to the whole community. I know we've got people on Facebook Live, we got people on YouTube, we've got our Discorders in here. So huge shout out to everybody like always. You guys make this so fun. Overpower's been booming, everything's been growing. I definitely want to give a huge shout out to Professor Robin, who I think, Robin's with us in the Discord. Thank you. And Larry for putting on an awesome event over last weekend. That was super fun. It was getting into this with everybody and bringing it back has been just such a dream come true. But it was really amazing to be at a tournament with people who had just learned how to play the game that I've been playing since I was 12 years old, and they've just learned how to play it in the last few months, and they're so excited about. Someone was like, "I got to get this hero to try him out." We'd so long got to a point where anyone that was still playing had every card. And so getting to see the excitement of people who want to grab Hawkeye and try him out and don't have him yet. And it just really created that feel that I hope people are also going to have when the new set comes out. So, super excited about all that. So I'm going to give you guys some general fun updates for a few minutes. I know we have people that are going to be cycling in over the next 10 minutes, but big, awesome general. And I know for 8 months now, we've been teasing you guys with our next big announcement. And I genuinely think we're going to have that for you within probably 2 to 3 weeks at the most. So we've moved forward. Contract negotiations are going well, and it looks like we're finally going to wrap it up. Just so you guys know, one of the people that we worked with unfortunately had a death in the family, and that actually put a big hold on things. So we're good partners. We're just trying to be understanding, but everything's back up and running with the new year, and you guys are going to have a huge announcement soon. And in addition to that, we are still doing all the work for more licenses. So where we were 8 months ago with this license, we've got a couple of other big ones on the line that we're talking to. So we're hoping it's just going to be one right after another. And I think you guys are going to be super blown away with what we bring you. So we can't wait to give you that. We're going to be showing you some fun stuff a little later tonight, but we've gotten our sleeves in from Titan Shield. So we're going to be doing a close-up of these and giving you guys a nice sneak preview of what you're going to get in from the Kickstarter. So we have all 6 versions of the sleeves in, and people at Robin's tournament this weekend got to see some of those. They only sent us about 40 of each one, so we put enough in for people to sleeve a battle site and gave some of those away for the top prizes. So we're going to be showing you guys that. And just again to comment on the tournament this weekend, that's anybody that wants to do a local tournament that has 8 or more players. We're all about that. That's awesome. What Larry and them have been doing to build the Pennsylvania community has been great, but we're just hoping that keeps going in all of the other areas once people have product or if people want to put in the effort to help everyone build decks. Build those local communities. There's prize support available, and we can't wait to where everybody's having people every Friday night at a game store doing draft or sealed or constructed overpower. So very, very excited to bring you guys that. The main subject tonight is going to be talking about the Kickstarter and how we're going to be doing the surveys and fulfillment. So I think we're about 5 minutes in. So we will start chatting about that a little bit. So the Kickstarter, since it ended on November 14th, has been in late pledge mode. And it's actually cool. We've been getting some pledges the last few weeks, so it's kind of bumped up in popularity again. But we are closing the Kickstarter officially tomorrow morning. That's going to take it out of late pledge mode. As soon as we close that, we're going to start getting everybody the survey. The survey is what needs to be filled out to confirm that we have your current address. I'm sure inevitably somebody's moved since November. Everyone needs to fill that out. Everyone needs to include their address in it and then just give us all the relevant information. One of the biggest things is there's the 2 tiers where you could get the starter decks. And I believe it was the Explorer. There was one of them that was specifically Ungodly Power and Horror Menagerie were the 2. Now, I will say for everyone that bought into that specific tier, when you go in, it's going to ask you which starter decks you want. And if that's your tier where you got the deal to get those specific 2, you have to pick those specific 2. If you pick one of the other ones, it's going to glitch, and then we're going to have to like go in and fix it and then get a hold of you, and then you're going to have to pick those 2 anyway. So if you do the other one where you have the choice, you can pick any of the 2 that you want. So that's fine. But for the, I think it was the early bird deal, just make sure you're picking Ungodly Power and Horror Menagerie. And I think it even says in the text when you do that above to do that. So you're going to get this survey. Everybody's going to go in and fill it out, give us their address. We're asking you guys to do it in 5 business days so we don't have any hold up with getting you your product. And just to make it clear what's going to happen, to give you an update on production, everything with production is going great. We're already starting to get stuff in, like I said, with the sleeves, which is fantastic. Yeah, the mats are in. Yep. So the play mats are completed. They're being shipped in right now. We've talked to our fulfillment partner is a company called Cardio. They're going to be running our player network portal, which I'm going to talk about a little bit at the end as well. So they're fantastic. Oh, I'm being told Chris is in the chat. Chris, thank you very much. Cardio is fantastic to work with. We've been meeting with him all week. So right now, our plan is to do this. We met with him today and discussed how it's going to work. We want to make sure that you get your cards as early as you can. So when we start the tournament circuit, which we're bumping a little bit later this year, the NAOL is going to have their first event early May. We want to make sure you have at least 2 to 3 weeks to build decks with the new cards and practice and play. So we are going to be coming off the dock at Cardamundi sometime in early March. And what we're going to do is, as soon as all the starter decks will get printed, as soon as we hit 100,000 boosters, we're going to ship that to Cardio, and then whatever other items they have, they're going to do a first round of fulfillment. So we're going to make sure you get the cards that you need to play early enough to start the season so we can have an awesome season. We've got 6 events. NAOL is telling us they're going to run 6 pretty big size events this year. They're going to be sending out, keep up with them because they're going to be announcing a lot of details about that and the different formats and some fun stuff they're going to be doing. We're going to be giving great prize support to them in addition to the regular prize support that anyone can get through going through our player network portal. And then in addition to that, we've announced this, but we're going to say it again. We're going to be running 4 regional tournaments throughout the year that are going to have $20,000 in cash prizes for the top placement. We're not sure exactly what the breakdown is going to be, but we're committing that much minimum in addition to any other prizes we have, like exclusive top 8 play mats for the event itself for everyone. Maybe we'll figure some other great stuff. We're all about making sure you guys come away and you're psyched with all the things that you get for coming to our tournaments. And then there will be a nationals tournament at the end of the year. So that right there is already putting you at 11 serious events that you can go to for the year. In addition to that, we're really going to be pushing in-store play at all of your brick-and-mortar stores and trying to help the community build out. So we're going to have prize kits. As long as you set up an event, you've got 8 players, you apply for the kit, you're going to get a certain amount of our prize packs. The prize packs are going to have rare cards that are only available in those prize packs. So the prize packs themselves, they're going to have a lot of collectability. There's some amazing art in the prize packs. Philip Can has done a few pieces for us again for that. Some of the other guys you know and love, like Huber, who did, if you guys can kind of see it, the pumpkin head playmat that we had at the Battle for Boston with the really cool pumpkin art. It's fine. We don't need to show it. I've got a little bit of his art on one of the sleeves we can show too. Yeah, so it's going to be great, guys. We really want to get these local communities going so then we can come together at the bigger events and keep this great attendance up. We've been pushing close to 40 people for most of the NAOL events last year, and people seem super excited to mix the cards and play in our modern environment. So we are psyched about that. Jumped around a little bit, but to get back to fulfillment, so to say it again for anyone that came in late, the Kickstarter is going to officially lock down tomorrow and end. That's going to be the end of late pledges. We got a lot of questions online that I do want to address about, can you do add-ons? This is the time to do the add-ons. When you get the survey, you're going to see the tier that you pledged and anything you added on initially. And then there's a button at the right with a drop-down menu, and that has every single tier and every single add-on and grouping of products that you can add on. You can then add it on again. And when you finish the survey, it will charge the card a second time for all of the additional stuff that you purchased. So this is the time. I know we got a lot of people that said, like, they saw the mats at Boston and wanted to add them on, or they've seen different things. You might really like some of the sleeves you see tonight. Anything you want to do, that's all going to be able to be added on in that drop-down menu. So that's going to be the time to do that. And as far as that, it's pretty straightforward. Just, get these done as soon as you guys can. We're going to be on top of everybody, but we want to make sure that when we do that first window of fulfillment through cardio, that you're not missed and have to wait till the second window. The second window will definitely be after the tournament circuit starts, just because the timetables are so tight. So if you don't fill the survey out within 5 business days, there's a chance we can't process everything in time to get you your cards to play in the events. So just make sure that you do it as soon as you get the email. Don't put it off. Just click, go in. It's going to take you guys 5 or 10 minutes at the most. Just get it done, put it to bed, and you don't have to do anything else. You just get ready for awesome new OverPower cards to come in. So, and with that said, we're going to do some of the fun stuff. So the first stretch goal that we had was exclusive digital wallpapers. So we're going to give you guys a sneak peek at some of the art I don't think you guys have seen yet. So we have made 20 different digital wallpapers, and we have spent, instead of 6. So there's 20 different ones you can pick from. The way it's going to work is we're going to be providing you guys with a link, and all of these are available on a Google Drive. You're going to have a little thumbnail. I believe it'll have a thumbnail. We're working on that to show you what the image is. When you go into the file, it's separated for whatever device you have. So it'll say you're on an you're on a MacBook Pro 12 to 16 inch. You click on that folder, it's formatted for the screen. If you're on an iPhone, if you're on a tablet, if you're on an Android, we have formatted these so all of the different things you want to get, you can have. Ron, if you pop this up here, this little webcam, let me see if I can get rid of all my things. So this, if we can go to this, you can see this is my Merlin wallpaper. It shut off. So this is my Merlin wallpaper. I went and put this on. You can see this is from my iPhone. I've got an older one, 13 Pro. Why is it shutting off so fast? That's so annoying. But you can see we've got Merlin here. We've got the symbol. This one's perfectly, all right, well, my phone seems to have a 2-second before the home screen shuts off. That's annoying. And then we're going to show you some on the screen. So the first thing we're going to show is what they look like on your computer's homepage, which is what we mostly know wallpapers from. So I think we picked a couple selects here from some artists we know and like. So we'll bring those up. This is going to be a picture of the Mummy, and this is one of our favorite guys to work with, Raymond Gay. Raymond does Ninja Turtle art for IDW. He did a lot of pieces for us for our collection. He did the Hercules you've seen a lot of. He did the Leonidas, which was our promo card at New York Comic Con. He's got a very highly detailed style that we absolutely love. So we're really lucky to be working with him. He's a fantastic artist, and we're looking for using him on any future projects we have. I can't wait to see his Witchblade in Darkness, or my favorite, some of the Top Cow Strike Force characters. And then the bottom one we have is one of my favorite pieces of art in the set. So this is a rare alternative art version of Mina Harker. I think you guys have heard me talk Mina Harker to death because I really like her mechanics in the game. And I kind of like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen version, which is very similar to what we used here. We have our own version, but it's like in that show, in that movie, she still has her vampire powers after Dracula bit her. we were working with time travel and multiple dimensions. So, but this is Victor Faro, and you guys might remember Victor Faro did a piece that we showcased with the Headless Horseman. He has this kind of, I don't even know what it is. It's almost like an oil crayon, like oil paint mixed style, but blow that up again really big. This is actually the one I have on my home screen. It's in the format of the OverPower cards lend themselves so well to these digital wallpapers because we had to leave room for the stats on one side. So this was a really fun project. We are going to get you guys access to this drive if you back the Kickstarter. I think on Monday. So you guys are going to have a bunch of these. Just to show you, we're going to bring up and show you an example of what they look like on the phone as well. So you might decide you really like the Mina Harker one on the desktop, but you love this mummy picture, you want it on your phone. We're going to give you guys a sneak peek of what it's going to look like here. So you'll see we've got these formatted in ways where they're going to pop up on your home screen. They'll still be tagged with the OverPower symbol at the bottom so they know what it is. But whatever you guys have, your tablets, your computers, your phones, we made sure we gave love to Android and iPhone. We don't play any favorites here. Yes, you guys have access to put that on any digital screen that you want. So super fun project. We really enjoyed doing that. So you guys are going to get that early next week once the surveys go out and we're collecting everything. And that brings us to one of the other fun things we have here, which is the sleeve. So we've got a little webcam we're going to go to here. Now, it does have a ring light, which creates a little bit of a glare, but I'm going to do my best here to try to show you guys. I also have a really hard time with the left and right on this camera, but this is the picture you guys have seen. So this is the Gonzalo art that we used on the 8 Energy and the very original Power Card promo packs we did, God, 3 years ago now almost. It seems crazy it's been that much time. But this has just always been one of my favorite pieces. It was this piece that inspired us to kind of go with the Greek god theme for the storyline. And you'll see this one has the Mount Olympus in the back. And, the colors are so vibrant and the detail is so sharp and crisp. I really love these sleeves. And we used some of these in the battle sites recently too. Titan Shield is one of the best ones in the business. So these sleeves are just of the highest quality. So they're very good. They have a lot of bounce back. They don't crease really when you use them and move them around. They still look smooth, which is a problem a lot of times with some sleeves is they flex or crease really easily. We've got 6 ones. We've got always the favorite, Joe Jesco's Tarzan. And you can see, I'll try to get a little closer to see the detail. I mean, Joe Jesco, you guys have heard me talk about Jesco till I was blue in the face. Drew painted the entire run of the 1992 Marvel Masterpieces, one of my all-time favorite trading card sets. That one's great, and you'll be seeing that on one of the cards. I believe that's the 5 multi in our set. And then another favorite piece of mine, a second Jesco painting, John Carter. He's fighting on Barsoom. The lions have centipede legs. So you can see him up on a bridge kind of doing battle. I'm trying to block the glare out from the ring of the ring light here. Yeah, but despite all the glares I'm getting, the colors on these are so sharp and so vibrant. So you guys are going to love these. Fan favorite, another ERB property, Victory Harbin, who in our game seems to have a very active reserve character, also good on the front line. One of the more used characters in the playtest. We saw her on a ton of decks. She is in the intelligence stat. And I think between her and some of the other intelligence characters that we have, I really think you're going to see intelligence have a big part in the meta at the beginning of the season. And that's what we're so excited about is we saw so many interesting decks in the playtest. And we were mostly just playtesting the modern environment. And I know everyone's really excited to mix these cards with the old cards. I can't wait to see in these mixed environment tournaments that the NAOL is going to hold up. That's going to hold what jumps up and is really big and really popular. And I think, we for years had an energy meta. And then lately, Keffer and Marcel and some of the other ones have really shown us how good strength can be. And I would definitely say 2024 was a strength meta. And I think this is when you're going to really see intellect come on. Victory Harbin, the Time Traveler, Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty it was a big one. I think you're definitely going to see intellect make a splash. This one I think you saw because this was our original sample that I showed on a town hall. This is Wilton Santos's Headless Horseman. Wilton Santos does. I love some of his art. He did the Three Musketeers piece when we went through all the different stages of the art like 6 months ago. He just such a talent in the industry. I really can't wait to see Wilton's work on Top Cow and some of the other properties we're talking to. He's one of my favorite artists working in comics right now today. So this is a great sleeve. And then last but not least, our buddy Cuberball, who did you've seen the Anubis art. I was actually just meeting with John Beresford, who shout out to Pandemonium Books and Games in Cambridge, my home store. But he got to see a bunch of the Anubis art from Cuber, and he was telling me how much he enjoyed it. This one, it's a little dark, so it's hard to see. But on the other side, we've got our mummy there. And then for fun, he's teamed up with the creature from the Black Lagoon here, and they're pulling the Bride of Frankenstein through a swamp. So, and again, level of detail. And what's cool about this is he also did the art on the mummy. So this card is a teamwork card in the game, but the style of the characters, we tried to make sure people who were doing them had a similar style. So our versions of all of these characters are consistent throughout the set. So you really get to feel like, oh yeah, this is this version of the mummy or this version of this that I'm using. And it's not like the art isn't really divergent between the stuff. So we've got those in. We cannot wait to get that out to you. That's going to be great. I feel like I've sort of flown through everything we were going to talk about here. I think the best thing to do in town hall tradition is bringing our amazing associate Letty to the stage and seeing if Letty has any questions for us here. I got a nod like there's a lot of questions. Letty, welcome. Thank you so much. It's awesome to have you on the town hall as always. What do you got for me for questions?
Okay, we have one here. I think Ron got that from the chat as well, but I'm going to ask you now. Okay. Have you decided how cards will be collated in the packs? Will rares always be in the same location?
Absolutely. So we talked about this a few times, but I want to make sure everybody gets it. So we are doing 17 card booster packs, and we're going to at least stick with that for the first year. We're doing 17 playable cards. So if you look at a game like Magic, they have 15 cards in their pack. One of them is a basic land. One of them is an advertisement. So we have 4 more playable cards in our pack than the number of playable cards in the biggest game on the market. We are doing what we call character stacks, meaning your 12 commons will be the first cards in the pack. You'll get a character and 5 of their specific specials. Then you'll get a second character card and 5 more of that character's specials. We were able to work with Cardamundi to make sure those 2 heroes is true random. You never know which 2 you're going to get. And that was not an easy lift. It's actually pretty complicated to make sure you can do that. Originally, it was going to be a bigger percentage chance that certain characters would be in the same packs. But we were able to work with them and kind of add to what we were doing and develop it. And we've been able to get that truly random. First 12 cards are going to be those 2 heroes. That also enables us to do the draft format and the sealed format very well. Because now when you open a pack, you'll have 2 options of characters to use for those limited formats. Your next 4 cards are going to be your uncommon cards. Those are going to include Teamwork, Home Bases, multi-power power cards, any power cards. And then most characters, with the exception of 2, have a 6th special card. So we've chosen specific, more powerful 1 per deck. Those can also appear in the uncommon slot, and those are truly random as well. So we did a computer simulation for 10,000 packs out and did a review, and they were great. There were packs that were completely mixed and even. There were packs where you got 3 teamwork cards. There were packs where you got like 4 bomb specials. There were packs where it was one of each type of card. And that's really where the fun's going to come in with the drafting environment is those 4 cards are going to remain hidden when you're doing a draft in limited play. And that's going to influence the choices of the characters that you're going to pick when you do the draft. The last card in the pack is always going to be the rare. And as we've talked about, the new coalition model we've innovated, where really the first ones to do it on this level for a collectible card game, all of the rare cards are the alternative art. Like we were just showing you with the Victor Faro Mina Harker or the Raymond Gay Mummy, where you are going to get essentially what video games call skins. You'll get your different versions of the hero cards to use. That will always be the rare slot, and that will always be the last card in the pack. So it's always going to be 12 commons, 4 uncommons, and a rare in that exact order for the ERB set. I can't speak to ones we haven't gone into production for yet, but our plan right now is to stick with that format for at least the first year, probably the first 2. How'd I do, Letty?
Yeah, you did nice. That was
All
good.
right.
People are crazy around here.
All right, what do we got next?
This is a good one. I think this hoodie behind you is stirring some things up. But when are hoodies being released for sale?
So we are working with Cardio to have a store that's going to be available. There's going to be multiple ways to get product from the store. That's going to include play mats, hoodies, everything you saw on the Kickstarter will be available for points. So you're going to be able to purchase some things off the site, and then you're going to be able to redeem what we're calling PowerPoints for certain things. One thing for us, it's really big. We don't ever want to undercut our retailers or people that are buying stuff to sell. Anything that was available on the Kickstarter, we're not going to sell it for money online. We want to make sure the retailers can go out there and push that because we're the game that's a lot of our staff worked at brick and mortar stores. Our goal is to get people playing games together in person. We think that those kind of communities are so vital, not just for making OverPower successful, but just for the world. It's games are not to get all soapboxy, but games are always the thing I've seen that are the great unifier between any kind of people. You're having fun. You're interacting in more complex social ways. You form communities of people that you like to play with and travel to tournaments with. I can't tell you how many of my best friendships in the world were through gaming. John Sawyer, who's one of the people that's been with us since almost the founding of the company, he and I met playing OverPower in a small town in Maine when we were kids, and we're still he's my best friend today. I've got a lot of best friends. Mike Potter is another guy who's just buying into the game. I can't wait to play with him. And my other founders, Dave and Keith, I met also just through playing OverPower in what eventually became the North American OverPower Alliance and is now turned into the North American OverPower League. So we really want to help the brick and mortar stores get people in their doors. And I think, but with this coalition model, we've really found a way where if you're a player that doesn't have or want to spend a ton of money on the game, you can put these decks together for really inexpensively. But if you're a collector, like I am and most people know, and you're like, I really want that Victor Faro Mina Harker, that chase is going to be there, and we're going to create that singles market for the stores as well. Everybody who's in this knows the stores don't make a huge margin off the packs and running events. They really make the margin off selling the singles. So we want to make sure the stores can, make some money, stay in business. We want to put people in seats in there. So we're building those communities where people are going to make these lifelong friendships and come together. And so that's, I went on a big ramble there. And yes, that's a great point, Ronald. Share with the next generation. We got to see one of our founders had his son at Battle of Boston, and we love seeing that. We're getting friends with kids at an age where they're teaching their kid. Andrew Taylor, who won the Battle of Boston, is a perfect example. The camera button. We are going to be doing a newsletter next week as well that's going to start coming out on a monthly basis to give you guys a lot of these updates as well. But we're having a lot of fun with that because that's going to start to be where we bring you guys more of the trivia questions I like to come up with. We're going to be having Andrew Taylor, Andrew the Prodigy Taylor, as we're calling him, is going to be writing an article about what his approach was for getting his deck ready for Battle of Boston. I had the pleasure of reading the article today. It's very good. It's really interesting to see how he came to winning with a Galactus deck, which until he won with it was thought to be not a competitive deck. Many people have tried to make the Galactus deck work, and he's the first one that figured it out. And to give Andrew credit, if he's watching, I actually won the tournament that we did down at Larry's, and I based my deck off what he came up with in the tournament. I used 2 negators and then backed up a bunch of the teamworks and used a kind of a heavy teamwork deck. I played a different mission set and I put some stuff in there that was my flavor, but it's 100% a deck based off the game theory that Andrew came up with. And that's another thing that's great about these games is, playing a game for 30 years and then seeing somebody else do something and being like, this was sitting right in front of me the whole time. I could have made this deck 10 years ago. And it inspired me to, I don't play a ton in the events as the CEO of the company, but I saw that and I was like, I really want to play in an event, a deck with his theory with some of the stuff I wanted to put into it. And so inspiring other people to get excited about the game through trying different decks that they've done well with, another way we're building that community. So very long answer. I can, like I said, I hold on. I still got 30 minutes left. I haven't gone over the hour yet, but I hope that answers your question. Do we think that did? I think I answered your question and 4 other questions no one asked. So.
Yes. It wouldn't be a town hall if Joe didn't ramble on.
Yeah, a lot. He's gonna pick out the nuggets in there. They're in there. All right, what do we got next?
Next one is about tournaments. Do we have some spoiler dates or months for this LRG tournaments you mentioned?
I'm gonna leave all of the the NAOL tournaments for Howard to announce, but I can say pretty firmly the first tournament's going to be at the beginning of May and is going to be in Texas. It's going to move from Oklahoma to Texas. The reason for that is the travel to Oklahoma is a little harder to do, a little more expensive, and where we're moving it to in Texas is a bigger hub. We think it's going to be much cheaper for anyone that wants to travel in. And we want to kind of start building up a community over there. Oklahoma's willing to travel. We definitely know we have some players in the Texas area that have been asking us to hold an event there. So other than that, for NAOL, I'm not going to make the announcement until they put it out, but I would expect that to also come within the next week, maybe a little bit longer. Howard, I'm not going to put you on a clock, but it's coming soon. So we've been checking everything and setting all the dates. Your question about the regionals and the LRG tournament, we're going to wait until the NAOL announces their tournaments, and then we're going to design our tournaments on the way that makes the most sense so that if there are people, and I hope there are, that are going to try to go to every single event this year, we want to make sure we're giving people as much space in between the events as we can. And, we're also really debating where we want to do them. There's, some of them are probably going to be at game stores that are really pushing us, that are wanting to hold them, that can see enough people that it seems like we might get. And that's really important to us. We've also toyed around with the idea of having one of the regionals at Gen Con or one of the bigger events, and we're still looking into that right now. We have a gentleman that's joined the company that is working on our distribution and our judge program and our ambassador program. Shout out to Mr. James Sanderson if he's watching. He's a friend I've known from the Magic community forever. He worked at GTS for a while. He worked at Pandemonium, our local store. He's a super nice guy. He's reaching out and doing the legwork right now to figure out how hard it would be to do tournaments at some of these bigger events this year on short notice. And just to give you guys an idea, getting into some of these conventions is insanely difficult. If for the average people with no connections, if you want to set up a booth at San Diego Comic-Con, it's a 7-year waiting list. So, that doesn't mean we don't have some ways we might be able to use our connections and get in there a little sooner, but that gives you an example. It's even with a year heads up, it's still short notice. So we're going to look into that and do what we can, but wherever we end up doing them, they're going to be huge. We're going to go all out. Anyone that's attended Boston or any of the NAOL events is going to tell you we really try to make it worth it for anybody that comes out. And I can say pretty solidly, I've never met anyone that's come to one of our events that afterwards didn't want to come to more. I think we really try to make it a fun, inviting environment to everyone. So I hope you'll come out. I hope you'll try one of the events. But unfortunately, I don't have specific dates for you yet. So, but you'll have plenty of time to get ready for them. What do we think, Letty?
A
We
lot,
got more?
a lot of things coming. Yes. Since we're talking about tournaments, this is a good question. Are we focusing on ease of use with tournament software? Because I hate dealing with challenge.
I definitely know challenge for some people is not their favorite. We're using Cardio. So what we were talking about for our fulfillment center and our player network portal, their primary function that you're going to interact with it, other than having your profiles on it, is we're going to be using them to run the tournaments as well. We're super excited about that. And I believe what we're going to do on our end is we're going to do a small internal tournament and do a test drive with that before the first tournaments start to happen. But I'm super excited to be partnered with Cardio for doing our for the software for running the tournament. And I think it's going to be super easy to use. Everything we've asked them about functionality, things that other programs that we've used in the past we weren't crazy about. They've been super awesome about saying, "Oh yeah, like we can incorporate that, we can accommodate it." And I think we're going to find that it's going to be awesome when we launch. And as we grow with them, they are a newer company. As we grow, we just plan on growing with them and continuing to customize how the program's going to work, ease of use. And it's great. We're super excited. They're an awesome group of guys over there. So, all right. What else
Right.
do we got?
This one is a good one. Have stores that will be selling OP cards post Kickstarter been identified yet? Will there be a delay between when the Kickstarter cards are available and when we could get them at a local game store?
So we've got a couple of things going on. So we had retailer tiers available at the Kickstarter for retailers to buy in on. We definitely had retailers. We'll I don't. We haven't really thought about that actually of advertising which stores bought in for retail. But 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to be providing a store list of any of the stores in April. Where I mean, told in April we're going to have a list of which stores bought in and where it's available. And in addition to that, probably I don't know if it will fulfill with the first wave, but we are going to be distributing through GTS, through Universal Distribution in Canada, and through ACD Distribution. And that's just for now. All three of them have already said that they want to be carrying the Edgar Rice Burroughs World Legend sets. And then obviously the sets that come out after that. So we are definitely going to have hubs that we're focused on. Now, to give you guys an idea of where we're coming from, we actually had people that wanted to buy more than I think we're going to push. We don't want to just put it in every single store to start with because we want to focus on areas where we really can build that player community and make sure that for right now, if a store buys into it, we want them to buy into it knowing it's going to be successful. So when we get to the next sets of licenses and some of these big properties we're talking about, and then we spread out, we know it's going to be successful everywhere because there's already a very strong established play community in one area that's not crazy far away from them. And that's our idea is this. So this is kind of what we've done a lot. I think if you look back at the last 5 years we've been developing this and getting it to where we are now, where we're starting to really get out there, and we're going to be putting out sets every 4 months once we get the set after ERB, starting in like end of 2025, early 2026. It's going to start to go on a 4-month process between sets. Part of that journey has been us saying we're going to do things, and we do it. We're very true to our word, but it being a much longer timeline than I think people realize it takes to get a lot of this stuff off the ground. But that very slow, methodical growth that we've done, it's very natural growth, it's sustainable, and it's healthy. That's really what differentiates us with what a lot of the competition is doing, which is just trying to explode and do everything at once, and then not having a good foundation to hold everything up. So, absolutely, we're going to push any of the stores that want to be pushed and that are involved in this and try to get a strong local community at all the retailers that bought in. And then we're also going to have new retailers that we're working with the distributors to focus in as kind of, super stores for pushing OverPower. And then when we get to some of the later sets, that's when you're going to see a much wider net spread. We've been in negotiations with big box stores already and started to talk to them. I think you'll start to see OverPower in 2020, end of 2025, 2026, everywhere, like you do with some of the other large CCGs, which is going to be great. All right. What else we got, Letty?
Okay, I think we covered a lot. These were my main questions. Some people were asking, how do we contact you if we have any issues with the survey tomorrow?
That's a
You
great
can
question.
contact us. Yeah, you can contact me here. You can DM me here in Discord, Mystique, or you can also send us an email. We're gonna be in direct contact with you through Kickstarter as well. So, in case you have any problems, you can reach out to us there.
Mm-hmm. Ronald's showing you a little Cthulhu art from one of the digital wallpapers? That's such a great picture. That's Jimbo, who's one of the artists we got through Kirby Comics. I love that image. I actually, to be honest, that was my first background, and then I switched to the Victor Faro, Mina Harker. But I love the detail of the cultist down here in the bottom left that's summoning Cthulhu and standing on the rock. All right, Letty, while Ron showcases some more of the art, what else do we got? Any other questions?
No more questions. I think the last one was, are we getting more card spoilers?
Well, we gave you some art spoilers. Actually, no, that's a fantastic thing. So one of the main things we're working on with Cardio, and I don't know if we've talked about this, so this is really fun. We are going to have a deck building program on the Player Network portal. So when that launches, and it should be, I'm going to say at the latest, I'm going to call 6 weeks. I think we can have something available, but I can't make any promises. It might be way faster, might take a little longer. What you're going to do in the Player Network portal is retailers are going to be able to make an account and register as an OverPower store. Players are going to be able to make their player profile on there and put their information in. They'll be able to use a store finder, so whenever stores are having events, they can register the events through the network portal, and then players will be able to do a event search for those events within a certain amount of miles of where they are, and that's going to help us get players to stores to meet other people that are playing like that. We talked earlier about James Sanderson's judge program and the ambassador program. What you're going to be able to do is go to our website where our full comprehensive rule book is going to be housed along with the term sheet and the Learn to Play rule book. And you're going to be able to study that and read through it. You're going to be able to take a judge test or an ambassador test. The ambassador test will be a little bit easier. It just demonstrates you have like a surface working knowledge of how the game works. The judge test is going to be about 20 questions. It's going to be a little more in depth, something where we feel you're demonstrating a knowledge of the rule book to be able to judge at an event. And then what we want to be able to have people do after that is we're going to be able to update your profile. So you'll have a way on your profile where it says you're a judge or it says you're an ambassador. So all you have to do is, follow the link through the player portal to our website or go on our website. You're going to pass the test. We'll take care of getting your profile upgraded. And then what you can do is you can go to your local stores or places having tournaments, and you can just let them know, hey, I'm a certified judge for OverPower. If you want to bring me on to work in an event, you can. And that's where you're going to we started to talk about those PowerPoints. So we're going to have a store available on Cardio, which we talked about, which is going to have items that you can buy with regular money. Those are going to be new items that you guys haven't seen yet. We'll provide new hoodies. We'll provide new play mats. There'll at some point be new sleeves you guys can buy. We'll have some that are exclusive to our store. We'll have more that we give to the retailers that we won't sell. Then there'll be other things that are available. If you do our judge program or an ambassador program, the more people you sign up to have accounts, the more events you work, we're going to provide you with power points, and those points can be redeemed for any of these items on the stores. And that's something we're going to give you guys an incentive. And in addition to that, we're encouraging stores to pay people, make sure there's some kind of compensation for coming and working as judges. And we're going to be providing the stores with those same prize packs for doing the events. We're going to make sure judges and ambassadors get those as well. So you're going to be able to collect some of those new different art that you're not getting from opening the boosters. So that's going to be how we're using the Player Network portal to register accounts for stores and players and judges and ambassadors. So for the deck, so we are going to also have a deck builder on there. And I think when this deck builder launches in the time period that I said, you're going to actually get the entire set of playable cards. We're not going to have the rares on there. We still want the surprise of when you guys open the packs, you get to see the rares. But this is the first you're hearing about this. When we drop that deck builder, you guys are going to have all the cards. You're going to be able to see the common version of the art and the uncommon version of the art. And you're going to be able to build decks that when you hit a button, it will export it as a Tabletop Simulator file. You guys, we're encouraging that. Go on to Tabletop Simulator, drop your decks in, build your decks, and start getting ready for the tournament. And then when you guys fulfill, you can just pull the real cards and build the exact same deck. So I think, to answer your question, I think you'll be happy about it. Within, hopefully, 6 weeks, you guys will actually have the full set spoiled for you. So it's very exciting. I've seen it already. So that's exciting for me, but I'm just kidding. It's very exciting. All right, Letty, what else? Any other questions?
Nope, we're good in here.
Oh my God, guys, are we gonna do it under an hour? Somebody's gotta ask something else. We got 13 more minutes. That's 2 questions.
I know, right?
For me.
We've got to find these questions.
You what?
We've got to find these questions. Come on.
All right, everybody. That's, we're gonna let you guys get back to your evening nice and easy today. This was a great one. So we are so excited to get this out. We're so excited to start the new tournament circuit. We are working on improvements on everything we do constantly. We've been having a lot of meetings about how we can improve the streams that we're going to be doing for the events. One of the things, I'm throwing the gauntlet down now for the team. I really want to develop a way that when we're doing the streaming, we're going to really try to find a way when we talk about a certain card that's been played, we're going to get the image up on the screen so you guys can see a readable version of it. A lot of the other games do it. I'm going to push real hard to do it. So I like to set the bar really high and then push for it and see if we can get it. So we're going to be constantly making these kind of improvements. We've got such a great community. We really do listen to the feedback that you guys give. I think people have been really surprised that they've given us kind of editorial comments about cards. And obviously, with this kind of stuff, where there's only so much we can take, but some people have commented like, "Oh, you took our advice on that." Absolutely. We want to make the most accurate version of these characters we can. And we want to make sure when people play them, they're super excited at playing someone that feels like the character they've always loved. As Ron Peraza said, and shout out to Ron, we'll be chatting with you soon. As Ron Peraza, one of the original game designers at Fleer, said to us, every character is somebody's favorite. And that's kind of become the motto here at Lazarus Rising Games. Every character is a favorite character of one of the people that's going to get into the game. And we want to make sure that person is psyched at the experience of using that character. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Ronald's saying too, when we get to the end of 2025, we're definitely going to do some kind of town hall / conference where we do have a big, what did you guys like about the season? What did you like about the tournament? What did you like about the set of cards that you've now been playing with for a year and how it mixed? And again, we love the feedback. We love having an active community. And we really feel like OverPower is for everybody. We're the guys that are getting this game over the finish line. But I think we're just doing the thing we all wanted to have, which is this really is, I think, the best CCG that's ever been put out. It's not resource management. There's so many different strategies from, I feel like deck building is where so much of the strategy begins. There's play strategy. I just really can't. I love this game so much. Dave this weekend, and when we were at the tournament at Robin's place, and we were both saying the same thing. It was so fun seeing new decks and just seeing what people are coming up with. Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. I'll talk about that a little bit too. For Professor Robin Professor Robin is actually going to be doing a presentation at Oxford where he's going to talk some about OverPower. I'm probably gonna butcher this, Robin, so feel free to put it in the chat. I believe it's a medieval gaming convention that you're doing a talk at OverPower, about OverPower, talking about the different ways that they represent like medieval weaponry and things through game mechanics. What is it? Medievals on modern gaming. Perfect. So we met with Robin this weekend. If you think I ramble on these town halls, wait till you start asking me detailed questions about development, because I think he said he had to write 12 pages of notes from our rambling. But yeah, shout out to Robin's been a great advocate. We're super excited to have met him relatively recently and be working with him. So that's also what the games are, just meeting great people and making new friends. And the one, yeah, people from all over the country, and we're being able to travel and see different areas too. I love getting to go to Pennsylvania and seeing Robin shop and the different stores in Seattle, getting to see the Zulus, and it's been awesome. It's we can't thank you enough. We really, really love doing this, and I think you guys are gonna. This first set is. I mean, we've been working on this for 3 years, so we really put everything into this to make sure it's balanced and it's going to be really fun. And I do think it's going to have a huge impact on the mixed environment in a really good way. So I'm so excited to go to this first event in May. And I will most likely be doing commentary and not playing, but I can't wait to be doing the commentary on all the different ideas you guys come up with. From, I'm hoping we see some fighting combat decks. Jeez, am I ever going to stop doing that? We're going to see some combat decks, some brute force decks, some intelligence decks. I really can't wait to just sit down and see all the wacky stuff people come up with, and see like things that, one thing that's been great. I'll talk about this for a second. All right, 8 minutes. I'm not going to go over. One thing that was awesome about the playtest. So Keith Bursack ran our playtest, but I would jump in and read all the notes. One thing we intentionally did from we must have had 100 playtesters. We kept each group insular, and we said, everyone in the NAOL knows each other at this point and they're friends, but we said, don't talk to each other about the playtest. Just talk within your group, because we really wanted to see what different types of players gravitated toward and what different groups wanted. And it was so both interesting and amusing, because we would get one group that would be like, I love this character. They're awesome. There's all these combos. I figured this out. What a great character. And then we would go to a different group and they'd be like, that is the worst character I've ever seen. It will never see play. Like, you need to give him better cards. I don't know why you made him this way. And so that was really fun for us, because we know how we're going to use characters, but then it's so fun to see someone put together a combo or use a character in a way where we were like, oh, wow, that's so awesome. We never even realized you could do that. And so I'm so excited to see what people come up with at the first NAOL event, which will be the first event of the season. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to end this in under an hour. So, Letty, last call. Any more questions? I'm going to answer them if there are one.
Okay, let's do a last one then. The last one.
All right, let's do it.
Are there going to be missions in the booster pack?
There will not be missions in the booster packs. All right, 5 minutes. I'm going to get 6 minutes. So one thing that we chose to do, and it's a little awkward in the first set, there are not going to be any basic universe, training, or ally cards, mission cards, or event cards in the booster packs. Those are all going to be available in the starter decks. Part of the reason we're doing the power card stations, on one hand, we want storers or people like myself who are going to hold drafts at home to be able to have a ton of extra power cards for people to build decks when they do a draft. But the other thing that those power card stations have is they're actually going to have extra copies of all of those universe cards that you only get in the starter decks. That way there's more places to get them, and they'll be more prevalent. But what we didn't want is to be queuing up. When you go buy a pack, we want every card in that pack to be something you're excited about. And once you have 1 to 2 copies of a mission set, it's just like when I go look at my original Overpower and I look at my Infinity Gauntlet mission set, I must have 25 of each of the 7 missions. And we didn't want that. So it's a little awkward at first for a new player where they might be like, man, I really wish I had 3 to 6 copies of a given basic because they want that. But once we get through the first 3 sets, we'll be doing basics and trainings, at least in the first set after that. You're going to end up with different versions of them, but you're going to have a ton of playable copies. So we did relegate some of those cards to just being in the starters, but we did that so your experience when you're doing draft events or opening a lot of packs is that everything you're getting is stuff that you're going to be happy that you got. It's going to make it easier to collect player sets for each character. You want to have 3 heals or multiple 7 attacks. It's going to be easier for you to get those because you're not going to have packs that are bogged down. I mean, we all remember opening some of the earlier sets. Coalition was not good. And those, I think it was not 7 or 9 card Power Surge packs. I love one of my favorite sets, but John and I cracked a box a couple of years back, and we would open a pack, and it would be like 3 power cards, 2 basic universe cards, a training, a mission, 2 specials for a guy that you don't have the hero card for, and that would be it. And like when you're a kid and you're saving up for a single pack, that was not the funnest experience. So we're trying to make sure the pack opening experience is awesome for everyone that does it. Yeah. We good? That was 2 minutes.
Okay.
I'm really proud of myself there. Anything else, Letty?
I said that was the last question, but this is such a good one. I think we should do this one as
We got to do it. We're going to answer them all.
well. Who are your top 3 favorite World Legends characters?
Top 3 World Legends. I'm going to answer this 2 ways because, of course, it's me. My favorite lore-wise, right off the top of my head, is probably... I mean, I definitely love the John Carter of Mars book. So he's one from a literature standpoint. I mean, H.G. Wells' Time Traveler, probably the reason I pulled him in at the top of my list. And I guess I'd probably say Moriarty from the Sherlock Holmes book. I always loved Moriarty as a villain. He's one of the first people when I read growing up that I was like, oh, you used to... He's not just a guy that's like super strong or has powers, and it's, years later, it's very Lex Luthor-y when I started to get into Lex Luthor, but I always loved him. As far as playing the game and their actual mechanics, still Moriarty. We joke a lot about, even myself, when Dave McMillan designed Moriarty, and I was very critical of Moriarty during the design period, and I'll admit when I'm wrong, I did not think he was good. I said, I don't get it. I don't think these mechanics are going to be powerful. I don't think he's going to be competitive. I just don't like him. And hilariously, he was definitely the character I used the most. It was definitely my favorite character. Once I was like, oh, I get what this character's doing. He's awesome. So I'd say play-wise, I really liked him. I really liked Count of Monte Cristo. I think he's going to put intelligence decks on the map. I'll spoil a mechanic for you. Count of Monte Cristo's big non-1 per deck. He's one of the characters with only 5 specials. He has a non-1 per deck that is a 4, make an additional attack, but because everything the Count of Monte Cristo does is secret, you get to make the additional attack face down. I think we all remember in original Overpower they had mechanics for playing cards face down, and you have to either let it hit or you have to guess the defense, and if when the card's revealed this doesn't defend it, you lose the card you guessed with. It was such a fun mechanic in the original game, but it was not ever done in a way where it could be competitive. So having it as the additional attack that you get to make was really fun in playtesting. So I'd say he's my second one. And then, man, there were so many good ones. I know a lot of people liked Cthulhu. He's great, but I don't think I'd say he was my favorite. Oh, you know what? I'm going to say it's Deja Thoris. She is a max 6, but she has a card that I really like where... basically, in Overpower, when you're venturing, if you venture more than 2 cards, if you're venturing more than 2 cards, you get the opponent gets to draw a card for anything above 2. Deja Thoris says anytime they venture more than 1, she gets to draw a card. So it essentially just bumps it back to when they bet 2, you draw 1. And then if they bet 3, you'll get to draw 1 for Dejasaurus and 1 for the rules. And it just ups that amount you get. And I love that card. I played that a ton in the playtest. So it's 9 o'clock. So Dejasaurus, Count of Monte Cristo, and Professor Moriarty. 1 hour? 1 hour on the nose? I'm going to ask, though, because I always say we're going to answer every question. Any other good ones, Letty?
I think we're good.
All right, guys, we're going to end on time for the first time ever. Mark it in your calendars. 1 hour, in and out. I'm just going to ramble some thank yous, but that is all the pertinent information. Thanks so much for being with us tonight, guys. Thank you, everyone that sponsored our Kickstarter. Thank you to all the new players at Robin's Shop. I want to shout out to everyone. Wade, who made the top 8, the captain who showed up and had an awesome top 8 appearance in his second tournament. His play was so good. He had a great strength deck. Really fun to see players improve so much just after one event. So I can't wait to see some of these players at the next event, and I can't wait to travel the country and come hang with you guys at your local stores and see all the new OverPower players developing. And we've got great stuff coming up in 2025. We're going to have a lot of great swag, whether if it may be promo cards, it may be play mats for each individual event. We don't know. We're going to make sure it's fun, and you guys are going to have a great time with it. So thank you, everybody, and we're going to say good night. I'm going to pretend to sign the page like in The Daily Show. We're off.